What's up, everybody? This is Big Herc with Fresh Out, and I'm here with hot chicks and ex-cons. I got Aubrey Black here, and she's gonna kick some game about what she thinks about ex-cons and dating. So I'm gonna let her do a little introduction and tell you a little bit about herself, and then get into this interview.
Okay, so Aubrey Black, and originally from New Zealand, lived in Australia for about 15 years, so I've got a bit of a mixed up accent. No one can ever spot what it is. Most Americans think it's British, but yeah, that's the Kiwi side. Got a couple of kids, they're growing, 43.
So, have you ever dated anybody who's been locked up or been in the system?
Yes I have.
So did
Not
that
even that long ago too.
did that kind of determine whether or not you continue dating them, and did it make a big difference in the relationship?
No, not really, because I think for me, in New Zealand, you kind of grow up around, people do stuff, and it doesn't necessarily mean that, that entirely makes them who they are. It depends on what the problem was. Do you know what I mean? Like what they went
Okay,
away
what they
for
went.
and
Okay.
whatnot. But I mean, I guess I've always been around that type of thing. My brothers were always associated with different gangs and whatnot.
Okay.
And so for me, I guess I never really judged people by that type of thing. It was more what their personality was like, and I guess if they were bad, what was it that they did?
Okay. So are you more attracted to the regular guy for the fans, the guy who's the 9-to-5er, the square guy, or does bad boys kind of attract you more?
Well, okay, so I guess I'm a Gemini, so I have two sides. One side of me really I like nerdy people, so I like people with brains. But you can have a bad boy with brains, you know what I mean? You get a lot of bad boys with brains. So in terms of when I physically look at somebody initially, it's funny if I see somebody who's a bit built, maybe a bit rougher looking, tattoos, a beard. Ooh.
Little edgy.
I'm just gonna fall over here now. Slip off my seat. No, I do tend to go towards more the bad boys.
Okay. So if you were to hook up with a bad boy and he was still kind of doing bad boy stuff, would you ride with him, or would you be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you would actually ride with him?
I would.
Okay.
I'd need a cut though.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was that he was
Make sure
doing.
you were, in case something went down.
I have to be able to, put my input. I'm into business and stuff, so I like the business side of even being bad. So it's like, oh, you're doing that, cool. Well, how can I help benefit this? How can we make this grow bigger? Yeah.
Okay, you got a little bit of entrepreneur up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's because a lot of times females, when they, they'll ride with a guy, but then when shit hits the fan, they are really quick to kind of leave him hanging. I mean.
Oh, hell no. No.
Okay.
No.
Have you ever wrote somebody who was locked up, or corresponded with somebody, went to visit anybody locked up?
Not in terms of boyfriends or anything. I mean, the only time I've been into prisons and whatnot was I actually had a brother that was locked up when I was younger, so we could go for visits and things like that. And I do know family members, not on my side, but extended family. One of the siblings are actually in is it like the high prison here?
Yeah, it'd be considered like a super max or maximum security.
Yeah, so he's probably still got a few more years to go, and he's been in there for at least 7 years already.
Oh, wow.
So it's, and I don't have any judgment on that. He looks pretty bad, but I'm like, oh.
But you know what? We get a lot of people people who say, write in questions or actually email questions. And one of the questions was, a guy said, well, what would a female want to do with somebody who's been locked up and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, there's some good dudes that's done time. It doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Yeah.
I mean, you from your experience, I mean, what would you tell a person that says, they're judging somebody based on them being locked up?
Well, I'm sorry, but it's just half the other people that are doing bad things out there. It's just they haven't been caught, or they haven't been dobbed in. Do you know what I mean? Everyone in some way is doing, and not maybe to the extent of some people, but it's like, I'm sorry, not everyone's perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
And and what's the difference between a lawyer who's doing something dodgy and crooked, or you know, you've got accountants who are screwing people over, or you know, I'm just saying, you know, in those types of jobs and stuff that people don't pay attention
don't
to
even
that.
think about.
But you know, they look at these other people like, oh, they have a particular look, and so they, you know, put them into that niche, and that's that. You know, it's like, no, there's people out there doing stuff all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of people just ain't got caught, and you know, crooks don't necessarily look like they don't have to have tattoos. They can wear suits and.
100, exactly. That's some of the worst.
So for yourself, I mean, looking at, you know, the qualities you look for in an individual, whether they've been locked up or not, what would be those qualities you would say that you're looking for when you go to date a guy? Or
I'm kind of funny because I'm not really a person who's big on dating or anything, because I'm so busy with work and family and stuff. But when I do, it has to be, that person has to really catch my attention. So if I just try and think to the person that I was last in a relationship with, you know, he did have that look. And I was like, people were like, how could you not have known he was like the head of some gang, you know? And I was like, but his eyes were so blue, you know? But it comes down to personality, them not straight out talking filthy to me, that sort of thing. I'm really a personality person, you know, and if somebody comes at me and they start hitting on me like with your typical lines and being, oh yeah girl, we're going to hook up, we're going to do this and that, I'm just like, So I guess usually it's a humorous thing that would catch me. Maybe I find out that they have done so, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, what is it that you do, you know, how can I... I don't know how to put it. It's more just, it's a personality thing.
You give a guy the benefit of the doubt based on how he carries himself. Yeah. Well, that's a good way to look at it. And I always tell people, like, they ask me like, hey, do you tell people that you've been locked up, or what do they think? I'm like, initially I don't really put that out there, but then as conversation goes, you know, I might let it slide a little bit and then kind of see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people have a tendency to judge you based on what you've done in the past.
Exactly. But I find it's probably, having come from a different side of the world and whatnot, I do notice such a major difference over here to what it is where we come from, like major difference.
In what ways?
People are so, I think there's so much more judgment over here. You know, I just notice, even in terms of racism and stuff, like the issues that are over here, I'm blown away a lot of the time. So it's like you're either judged because of this or you're judged because of that. Or nothing is just, hey, we're just people, you know, cruising, get along, you know. And from New Zealand, where we come from, that's what we're like. You know, it's just like everyone's just, you know.
You don't really have the racism issue.
Well, you know, there is to a degree. I mean, I grew up with some because I'm mixed, and kids couldn't tell, you know, what I was. So it's like you got one or the other, but it was never to the level of like what I noticed over here. So, for example, you know, I might go into a shop with my son-in-law and daughter. My son-in-law's black, and you know, we're treated like criminals straight away. You know, just from, you know, going
based
in
on appearance.
Yeah, based on the way we look. And we actually did have a run-in with the police, you know, when we were over there, because they thought that something to do with weed and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And the way they treated, like, my son, who is the same sort of colour as me, as opposed to my son-in-law, I was just like, wow, this is shocking. So for me, you know, I guess just coming from one side of the world to the other, the way, not only the racism, but also the judgment on the things you've done, the things you do, the work that you do, the people that you associate with. Everyone's so caught up in what everyone's doing and what's wrong. And I'm just like, why don't you just shut the fuck up and like get on, you know, get on with it. If you focus as much on yourself and bettering yourself as you do on, you know, trolling everyone or, you know, being busybodies, you'd be much better off.
I agree. A lot of people are just so busy in everybody else's business, they don't have any business of their own.
No, exactly. So, but I mean, in terms of bad boys, I mean, you know, there's certainly some stuff I'd just be like, oh, hell no, you know, but, you know, yeah, there's a lot of good people who have being locked up. I mean, look, I've had it in my own family. Why would I, if I've had it within my own family, why would I be a person to turn around and still think that my brother is a good person?
Yeah, good point.
You know?
Well, I'm glad we were able to get your perspective, because it's, you know, a lot of times we have female fans that want to know about relationships and people that's been locked up, so it's good to put some information out there. Did you want to, is there anything you want to send out social media wise to anybody if they want to, you know, look up any of your fan club or any of your stuff?
Yes, I did forget to say at the beginning that I do a little bit of naughty stuff out there for those of you who don't know. I'm considered Australia's top MILF in the porn industry. But I do a lot of other things along the lines of fitness and mainstream modeling. But yes, my career has gone down the porn avenue. So Instagram is just Aubrey Black. That's AUBREYBLACK, and Twitter is Aubrey Black XXX, and yeah, Snapchat too. You can see all my links there anyway. But
thank you. There you guys have it. Aubrey Black kicking some game with you guys. I hope it's informative. Shoot us your comments. Look forward to hearing from you. Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.